You got a raise this year. Maybe two. You make more money than you did 3 years ago. Significantly more in some cases. And yet somehow your bank account looks exactly the same. Maybe worse. You're still doing the little, let's see if this card declines, prayer at checkout. You're still checking your balance before you order coffee, which is insane, because you make actual adult money now. So what happened? Where did it go? You didn't buy a yacht. You didn't set cash on fire for fun, although at this point, that might explain it better than your bank statement does. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Making more money doesn't fix being broke. It just makes the broke more expensive and gives it better lighting. And today, we're going to talk about why that happens, and more importantly, how you actually stop it. The real reason: lifestyle inflation. There's a term for this, and once you hear it, you will see it everywhere in your own life. It's called lifestyle inflation. Every time your income goes up, your spending quietly goes up to match it. Not because you're irresponsible, because it's invisible. You don't decide to spend more. You just kind of do. The apartment gets nicer. The car gets newer. The DoorDash order stops feeling like a treat and starts feeling like a personality trait. None of it feels like a decision in the moment. It feels like upgrading your life. It feels earned. You worked hard, you got the raise, you deserve the nicer thing. And you're not wrong about that. The problem isn't that you're enjoying your money. The problem is that your spending is rising at the exact same speed as your income, which means the gap between the two, the part that's supposed to turn into savings or freedom or options, never actually grows. It's like running on a treadmill and being surprised you haven't left the room. You're not broke because you don't make enough. You're broke because your expenses are a moving target that always lands exactly where your paycheck does, like they planned it that way. They didn't. It's just vibes. Expensive, expensive vibes. Why this feels invisible. Here's the part that makes this so sneaky. It doesn't feel like overspending. It feels like normal life. You don't sit down and think, I'm going to inflate my lifestyle now, please clap. You think, I got a raise. I can finally get the apartment with the in-unit laundry. And that's true, you can. But 6 months later, that's just your baseline. It's not a treat anymore. It's just what you expect. And your brain has already moved on to wanting the apartment with the rooftop. This is called hedonic adaptation, and it is brutally, almost rudely efficient. Whatever you have becomes the new normal almost immediately. The nicer car stops feeling exciting after a few weeks. Now it's just the car, the thing that occasionally needs gas and judges your parking. The bigger apartment just becomes the apartment. And because the upgrade stops feeling like a luxury, you don't register it as the thing that's draining your account. It just feels like your life. Your normal, regular, completely reasonable life that somehow still ends in overdraft fees. Which is exactly why people earning 6 figures can still feel broke. The number went up. The feeling never did. The joy has the shelf life of gas station sushi. The comparison trap. There's another layer to this, and it's a little harder to admit. A lot of your spending isn't actually about what you need or even what you want. It's about what feels appropriate for the life you think you're supposed to be living now, according to a panel of judges that only exists inside your own head. You make more, so suddenly the discount grocery store feels like it's not for you anymore, even though their generic brand of cereal is objectively the same cereal. The friend group goes out to nicer restaurants, and you don't want to be the one suggesting somewhere cheaper. So you order the $34 salmon and quietly recalculate your entire month in your head while everyone else talks about their vacations. You see what your peers have, the trips, the renovations, the everything, and some quiet part of your brain decides that's the baseline you should be matching, even if nobody ever said that out loud. Nobody is forcing this on you, but the pressure is real and it's constant, and it scales up exactly as fast as your income does. So you end up spending not to live your actual life, but to keep pace with a moving target that was never about you in the first place. It was about Instagram, and Instagram does not pay your rent. The fix: increase the gap, not the lifestyle. Okay, so here's where this gets useful, because none of this means you should never enjoy your money or live like a medieval monk who only eats porridge out of guilt. That's not the takeover here. The fix is simple to say and a little harder to do. Every time your income goes up, the goal is to increase the gap between what you earn and what you spend, not keep the gap the same size while both numbers grow like they're racing each other. A common version of this is the 50% rule. When you get a raise or extra income, half of it goes toward upgrading your life. Go ahead, enjoy it, you earned it. Get the nicer coffee, whatever. The other half goes straight to savings or debt or investing before you even see it in your spending account, before your brain has the chance to accidentally spend it on something called self-care. You still get the upgrade, you still feel the raise, but you're not letting all of it evaporate into lifestyle creep. This works because it doesn't require constant willpower, which is good, because your willpower has the structural integrity of wet cardboard by 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're not telling yourself, don't spend more forever, which never works. You're just deciding in advance, one time, that only part of every increase gets to touch your lifestyle. The rest goes to work for you instead. Why just make more money doesn't solve this. This is the part people get wrong constantly, and it's worth saying directly. If you don't fix this pattern, more income will not fix you. It will just raise the ceiling on how broke you can feel, which is a genuinely upsetting upgrade. People assume the next raise will be the one that finally makes things feel comfortable. And it might, for about 3 months, the same way a new phone feels exciting for about 3 months, before it's just the phone. Then the new normal sets in, the new lifestyle catches up, and you're right back where you started, just at a higher number, with nicer stuff, and the exact same dread. This is why some people making $40,000 a year feel financially secure, and some people making $200,000 a year feel like they're drowning in a slightly nicer pool. The income isn't the variable that determines how broke you feel. The gap is. So if you've been making more and somehow feeling just as stuck as before, this is probably why. It's not that you're bad with money or secretly cursed. It's that lifestyle inflation is sneaky, hedonic adaptation is relentless, and the comparison trap never actually ends. It just moves the goalpost every time you get close. The fix isn't to stop enjoying your life. It's to make sure that every time your income grows, some part of that growth actually goes somewhere, instead of just disappearing into a slightly nicer version of the same financial stress. If this explained way more than it should have, let me know in the comments. Tell me the moment you realized your lifestyle had quietly inflated without you noticing. And if you want more of these, you know what to do.